The woman stepped out of the old bookstore, her cardigan pulled tight, and scanned the darkening street with quick, fearful glances.
She walks this route alone every night, and tonight the fear in her shoulders is sharper than usual.
He rose from the bench and crossed the street, his footsteps unhurried but deliberate.
Miss, I don't mean to startle you.
Startle me. My heart's already in my throat. What does he want?
I've seen you walk home alone every night. I thought maybe you'd like some company.
Why? You don't know me. What's in it for you?
Nothing. I just don't think anyone should have to walk alone in the dark.
They all want something. But if I say no now, he might not back off. Walk, stay alert.
So she gave a single, wary nod, and they set off into the dusk, a stranger at her side. The silence between them was a living thing, heavy with her unspoken suspicion and his careful patience.
I've seen you close the shop a few times. How long have you worked there?
6 months. You are not a cop, are you? You have that look.
No, just a remote worker. I fix computer networks. Less exciting than it sounds.
Well, this is my building. Thanks for not being a cop.
She unlocked the door and slipped inside before he could respond, the lock clicking firmly. The next evening, when she emerged from the bookshop, he was on the bench, same spot, hands in pockets.
He came back. After that cold goodbye, he still came back. Are you going to be here every night now?
He stood, a quiet smile on his face. Only if you'll let me. And for the first time, a tiny smile flickered on her lips before she turned toward the street, this time waiting for him to catch up. Over the nights that followed, a quiet rhythm took hold. They talked about small things, the weather, the town, and the silences grew less heavy.
What's the last book you read that you couldn't put down?
A novel called The Quiet Side of the Mountain. It's about a woman who starts over, alone. She never explains what she left behind.
Sounds like a book I should borrow. You read a lot?
Work in a bookstore. You can't help it. The pay isn't much, but the quiet, it's a refuge.
Then one night a chill settled in, and he was waiting with a thermos of tea.
Thought you might be cold. It's just chamomile.
Nobody's ever just thought I might be cold. Such a small thing. Thank you. This is thank you.
She cradled the warm metal, and when she looked up, something behind her eyes had softened. A door that had been locked for a long time, now barely open. The rain came without warning that evening, a sudden downpour that turned the street lamps into blurred halos. He was there as always, but this time holding a large black umbrella, his flannel already dark with damp.
He's soaked. He stood in this downpour waiting. I don't understand him. You didn't have to stand in this.
I didn't want you to get soaked.
She stepped under the canopy, and suddenly they were in a small, dry world together, shoulders almost touching.
No one's ever walked me home before.
Then I'll be first.
He said it like it was nothing, but it's everything. Someone who asks for nothing and gives everything.
She lingered, one hand on the door, not retreating this time. Then she slipped inside, and the air between them hung heavier than before, charged, unspoken, but no longer empty. The next few evenings were different. A dark sedan sat under the old oak, headlights off, its presence a wrong note in the quiet street. William saw it too. But what unsettled him more was the way Jessica's eyes scanned every shadow before stepping out.
Something's changed. She's back to being a frightened animal, and I don't know why.
One night, as they fell into step, her phone lit up with a message. The glow bleached her face white.
Number. No, he found me. How?
Jessica? What is it?
Nothing. Just a wrong number. I have to go.
She's lying, and the way she's clutching her phone, she's about to bolt.
Before he could say more, she broke away, almost running down the sidewalk, her tote bouncing against her hip. William stood under the street lamp, alone, a cold weight settling in his chest. The peaceful ritual had fractured. 2 nights later, William turned the corner and froze. A tall man in a dark coat had Jessica backed against the bookstore wall, his voice a low hiss.
You thought you could run? I always find you, Jessica.
His voice. It's him. I can't breathe. I can't think.
Get away from her. Right now.
This is between me and her. Walk away, or you'll regret it.
The police are on their way. Marcus, I've already called. You need to leave, now.
This isn't over. You'll both regret ever crossing me.
He vanished into the night, but the threat he left behind clung to the air like a damp fog.
That was Marcus. My ex. I moved here to escape him, but he found me.
William looked at her pale face and realized the danger had been hers all along, and it was far from over. The next evening, William rounded the corner to find the bookstore windows shattered, glass glittering on the sidewalk like scattered diamonds.
A brick through the glass, and a note. You can't hide. He's not just threatening her, he's declaring war.
Jessica arrived moments later, her face draining of color as she took in the damage.
I am walking you home, and I am staying outside your building until you are safely inside.
Number. I can't have you mixed up in this. He'll hurt you next. He thinks he can shield me, but Marcus will break anything I care about. I have to push him away.
Let him try. I am not leaving you to face this alone.
Please, if you care about me at all, stop walking me home. Let me handle this.
Every instinct screams to stay, but the look in her eyes, she needs this choice. I'll give her space, but I won't be far.
So he nodded, the promise tasting like ash, and watched her walk into her building alone, the distance between them suddenly a canyon. 2 nights later, a gnawing dread pulled William back to the bookstore. As he neared, raised voices cut through the quiet, and then a crash. He shoved through the door and froze. Marcus had Jessica pinned against the counter, his fingers digging into her arm.
You are leaving this town with me, whether you like it or not.
Step away from her, now.
William lunged, grabbing Marcus's collar and hauling him backward. They crashed into a shelf, a cascade of paperbacks thudding to the floor.
I already dialed 911. Get out, Marcus, before you make it worse.
You think this protects her? You are wrong.
As his footsteps faded, Jessica's legs gave out. She crumpled, and William caught her, pulling her tight against his chest.
I've got you. You are safe now.
When the police arrived, they found the 2 of them like that. A man who refused to run, and a woman relearning what safe meant. But outside, the night still held threats. The morning after the attack, William texted Jessica, called her, but got only silence. He told himself she needed time. That evening, the bench was empty. The bookstore's lights never flickered on. The closed sign hung in the window like a verdict.
She didn't come to work. That's not like her. Something's wrong.
He went to her apartment. Knocked. No response. The window was dark, the silence inside absolute. Fear coiled in his chest. The next afternoon, he found Maggie at the bookstore, her face pale and tired.
She left this for you. I found it on the counter this morning.
Maggie pressed a plain white envelope into his hands. On the front, in careful handwriting, to the man who walked me home.
Her handwriting. She addressed it to me, to the man who walked her home. What has she done?
She had sat at the counter late last night, the rain streaking the window, writing this letter by lamplight. Now he carried it to the bench, sat under the string lights, and stared at the words she'd traced, too afraid to open it. His fingers trembled as he slid the letter free, unfolding the paper under the soft glow of the string lights. Dear William, or perhaps I should say, to the man who walked me home. Marcus came to me after that night. He told me if I didn't leave town, he'd hurt you. You taught me what safe felt like. I am finally walking toward a life, not away from one. Please don't look for me. Just know that you gave me a gift I never thought I deserved.
She left to protect me. After everything, she still protected me.
The words blurred as a hot ache spread through his chest. Grief, and something that felt almost like pride.
She asked me not to follow. I have to honor that.
He folded the letter with deliberate care, pressing it to his heart before slipping it into his pocket. And there, under those lights, he made a quiet vow to be the man she believed he could be. The next morning, William pushed open the bookstore door, needing someone who had known her.
She came here with a single suitcase and a restraining order. Didn't know a soul. She was terrified, but she showed up every day. Quietly fierce. That one.
Fierce. Yes. I never saw it clearly until now.
Then Maggie's voice dropped, and she shared a piece of news that punched through his grief.
They picked up Marcus last night, an old warrant. He's being held without bail.
The threat is gone. But she doesn't know. Where is she?
Relief and terror tangled in his chest. She might never hear it was safe.
She ran without her phone. But maybe this news will find its way to her.
William walked out carrying a fragile thread of hope. But the bench outside had never looked emptier. He walked the old path again, past her dark apartment, and sat on the familiar bench. The street was quiet, the string lights dim, but he could still see her shadow in the lamplight.
I should let go. But how do you let go of someone who taught you what safe meant?
So he took out a pen and an old receipt from his pocket, and he began to write. Jessica, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I need you to know. I am still here. Always. You taught me what safe felt like, too. I won't chase you, but I'll keep walking this path until you come back. He folded the paper, walked to her building, and slid it under her door, a whisper of hope against the silence. Then he stepped back and waited. The hallway light flickered. No sound came.
She may never see it, but she'll know someone waited.
That night, the bench stayed empty, but a piece of him remained on her doorstep, patient, unshaken. A full week crawled past. Every morning he told himself to move on, and every evening he found himself on the same street. Tonight, he came to say goodbye, not to her, but to the place where he first really saw her. But as he rounded the corner, he stopped. The bookstore was lit, every window golden, long after closing time.
Maggie never leaves the lights on. Someone's inside.
His feet carried him closer without permission, his breath shallow, his pulse a dull roar. Through the glass, a figure stood with her back to him, long brunette waves, a powder blue cardigan.
It can't be. After all this time, can it?
He didn't move, didn't knock, just watched her silhouette, afraid that a single breath might scatter the ghost. The figure turned slightly, as if sensing him, but not enough to see his face. Then she moved deeper into the shop, and the shadows reclaimed her, but the lights stayed on. He pushed open the door, the bell chiming. She turned, and the book in her hand slid to the //. For a heartbeat, neither spoke. The air felt too thin to breathe.
William.
She's here. Not a ghost. Not a memory.
He took a step, then another, until he could see the tired lines around her eyes and the quiet strength in her shoulders.
I went back to the city. I filed a restraining order. Marcus is being held. I didn't run anymore. I read your note. It was under my door when I came back. It reminded me I had somewhere to return to.
She fought. She won. And she came back.
I realized I didn't have to hide. I wanted to be here, with you.
The distance between them was only a few feet, but neither crossed it yet. They just stood, letting the truth settle like dust after a long wind. She knelt to retrieve the fallen book, then gestured toward the reading nook with a trembling smile.
Your note. I folded and unfolded it so many times. It made me brave.
You were already brave. I just reminded you.
He never takes credit. How did I almost lose this man who only knows how to give?
They settled onto the old leather bench, the string lights above them casting tiny halos on their faces.
I've been falling for you since the first night you held that umbrella.
Me too. I was falling before I even knew your name.
For a moment they just breathed the same air. The silence no longer empty, but brimming with everything they'd never said.
Walk me somewhere new tonight. Not my apartment. Yours. I want to see where you live.
He nodded, his throat too tight for words, and stretched out his hand. She took it, and the world outside the window suddenly didn't seem so dark. They stepped out into the evening, hand in hand, the bookstore's glow fading behind them.
The streets feel different tonight. Warmer?
She's looking at the same streetlights, but tonight she isn't scanning for shadows.
I used to rush past every window, afraid someone was watching. Now I want to look.
You earned that.
No, you gave me that. The first time you walked me home, I finally stopped holding my breath.
They passed under an old oak, its branches reaching over the path, the air sweet with night-blooming jasmine. Then the path opened into a small park. String lights draped between the trees, familiar and new all at once. Without a word, She leaned into his shoulder, her body fitting against his, as if it had always belonged there. He rested his chin atop her head, pulling her close, and the stars above them seemed to lean down and listen. They walked on, the park lights receding until the path gave way to his quiet, tree-lined street. His house was modest, a single porch lamp casting a golden pool on the weathered steps.
No one's ever walked me home before.
Then I'll be the first to walk you into the rest of your life.
He reached up, his thumb tracing the curve of her cheek, and a single tear slipped over his knuckle. Then his lips found hers, soft, unhurried. A question and an answer in one breath.
This is what safe feels like. Not a place, but a person.
She's home.
He drew back just enough to smile, then reached past her and pushed the door wide. The night air mingled with the scent of old wood and books, and she stepped over the threshold, pulling him with her. She paused in the entryway, eyes moving over the walls of books, the worn leather chair, the soft glow of a single lamp.
It's exactly how I imagined. Quiet, full of stories.
Make yourself at home. I could make some tea.
They drifted to the sofa, settling into the cushions, as if they'd done it 100 times.
His arm around me, the gentle weight of it. This is what I never dared to want.
She fits here. In my space, in my life.
Their voices were low, murmuring about the book she'd dropped, the tea he promised, nothing and everything.
Tomorrow, I'll bring my favorite mug from the apartment. If that's okay.
Bring whatever you want. I am not going anywhere.
And in the quiet that followed, they both knew the danger was behind them, and only mornings remained. Later, when the house had settled into a deep hush, she slipped her hand into his and drew him toward the window.
I used to be so afraid of the dark. Every shadow felt like a threat.
And now.
Now it feels like a blanket. Something that holds me instead of hiding danger.
I'll always be here to walk you through it. You know, every dark street, every dark thought.
She turned back to the glass, and the night outside was no longer a void. It was a deep velvet scattered with stars.
He turned the scariest thing in my world into something gentle. How does someone do that?
He wrapped his arms around her from behind, pulling her back against his chest, and they stood there, breathing in the quiet.
She's not shaking. She's not looking for exits. She's just here with me.
And for the first time, the darkness outside was not a thing to fear, but a canvas for the light they were building inside. Morning sunlight streamed through the bedroom curtains, painting gold across the rumpled but empty bed. In the kitchen, the rich scent of coffee curled upward. As William filled 2 mismatched mugs, Jessica sat at the small wooden table, wearing his gray flannel, her fingers tracing lines in the open book before her.
The weight of his shirt, the smell of coffee, the silence. This is a morning I never thought I'd get.
She looks up from her book, and the whole kitchen feels warmer.
You make a decent cup of coffee, you know.
Years of practice. I am glad it's finally being appreciated.
A shared smile passed between them, unhurried, like the morning itself was in on the secret.
No shadows today, just this, just us.
And outside the window, the small town street was waking up, but they were in no hurry to join it. They stepped outside into a morning that smelled of fresh bread and damp sidewalks, the small town street already humming with life.
It's strange. I walked this street 100 times, but never like this, never with the sun so bright.
A neighbor trimming his hedge glanced up and waved. William lifted a hand, easy, natural.
He's known here. He belongs. And now, somehow, I do too.
They passed the bookstore, its windows still shuttered, the closed sign a quiet promise of later. Not forever.
It'll open again soon. Maggie said she'd hold my job.
A few more steps brought them to the old wooden bench, the one he'd sat on 100 lonely evenings. She tugged his arm gently. He smiled, and they sat, her hand still nestled in the crook of his elbow.
This bench. This is where it started.
And for a long moment, they just sat. 2 people who had walked through fear and found a whole world waiting on the other side. Then she rose from the bench, tugging him up after her, and the morning sun caught the warmth in her eyes.
Walk me home.
Always.
They turned away from the bench, away from the closed bookstore, toward the quiet street that led to his house, their house now. Their footsteps fell into an easy rhythm, no longer the measured pace of a stranger, but the stroll of two people who had all the time in the world. The street lamps were off now, but the string lights still hung above them, waiting for evening to dance again. He tucked her hand more firmly into the crook of his arm, and she leaned her head against his shoulder as they walked.
This is the walk I was always meant to take. Not away from fear, but toward him.
The camera began to pull back, the two figures growing smaller against the quiet street, their silhouettes framed by the old oak, and the last of the morning mist. And under the string lights that had witnessed their first hello, two figures walked home, no longer alone, no longer afraid.